And it's live. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Living World of Darkness. This is a scene in the Changeling venue. And in this particular scene, we will find ourselves in the Duchess Airlays Freehold, where General Fergal has requested of the Duchess that she would open up her lake for him to have a few guests. Naturally, the curiosity of Airlay is raised high enough by this request that she insisted on being there herself. So the guests have arrived and were once again led by a lackey to the lake, which is now glistening in kind of a light blue glow that the mist floods just dancing around the lake. Actually, it looks like there are kind of misty people just doing some kind of intricate dance on the lake as you guys are being asked to sit in some sort of rowboat that doesn't actually row, it just drifts towards a big ship that's sitting on in the middle of the big lake. If you look down into the water, you can see all these colorful fishes that seem to glisten and swim around the boat. There are strange red, it kind of looks like coral that's coming out of the water around you, and the boat just levies its way through these pillars towards the big boat where you guys are, well, being led to the main deck. You can see the silk sails just hanging. There's no wind, so they're just kind of hanging down. And you will find Fergal and Arley on the boat already. And it's there that we will begin our scene.
General Fergal, for his part, is just standing beside the Duchess as he is wont to do, completely straight back, towering over her just a tiny bit, every so often crouching down to whisper one or two little oddities into her ear.
She nods and she smiles as she looks at Nathan and Valerius approaching. She doesn't say much and just points to chairs that are standing on the opposite end of the table. Just motions for them to sit down.
And not only is Nathan and are Nathan and Valerius there, but there's also a particular lion of some sorts present. And I'm looking for the picture of this particular lion. So
You brought a lion?
he brought a lion, yes, not me.
Why did he bring a lion?
Because he got it in the deep dreaming.
You'll be asked to go ahead and leave that thing at the docks.
As the lion is, well, as one of the servants says that, the lion looks up. Well, I think that is mighty unpleasant of you to ask such a thing of myself. Don't you know who I am?
General Fergal will go ahead and briefly leave the Duchess's side, crone his back into a very, very awkward position. Goes from 90 to 90 degrees and just proceeds to almost get right into this lion's face and says, "Oh, I am terribly sorry. Let's make introductions then. I happen to be General Fergal at Fiona, and you are, my good sir?"
The lion will look at Valerius. What name did you choose in the end?
Valerius would say, "This is my good friend and ally that helped in my war. I want to show him to you. He also helped. This is my good friend, Proud One."
Well, I suppose my name speaks for itself. I am proud, and I am one.
Proud one. Do you happen to hold a vassalship with the Baron here, or are you your own free creature?
I have decided to aid this pointy ear man in his quests.
What is his current quest that you are helping him with?
I suppose him becoming the greatest war hero in all the kingdom.
It is unfortunate that you were not there in the halls of justice today.
Oh, something worthy of note happened in a hallway?
Yes, it is. It's one of the reasons we have brought dear Baron Valerius here. I would request, since you are helping him with this particular quest to become the greatest war hero, that you would politely remain silent as a favor to myself.
Well, all right then, Bendy Man.
And the Bendy Man goes ahead and straightens himself up. Thank you. Alright. Fergal will go ahead and return to Arolay's side, look at Baron Valerius and says, "Can you give an accounting of yourself in the war against the Atene? What has been your efforts, your accomplishments?"
Well, the first thing I have is I reported to my head lord that who is in charge of me, and I went to battle. I led 3 battles, in which I all returned gloriously. Doing the kingdom proud, fighting many fell creatures, and coming back with trophies alike. Also saving a boggin that, not a boggin, excuse me, saving a puka that fell from the sky and mid-Christmas in Sacred.
That is all well and good. That is definitely a good story to tell.
Also, it should be noted that following battle, defending Garan, I believe that's Garan, whatever he's calling himself nowadays, the one that got in trouble for not properly giving information about his second freehold, which Aheen had decided to keep as their own. I was asked by the court to lead the charge and take the freehold back. We suffered losses, but the ends justified the means, as we were able to not only save the castle, but rid it of most of the Adhene, all of the Adhene presence, and with the help of my dear squire, not squire, my squire, but the help of Nathan, who was also under my command at the time.
General Fergal will go ahead and turn his gaze from the Baron and look to Nathan. "And the truth?"
Which truth is that, dear General?
The truth that remains within these freehold walls. The truth that you tell me within my own quarters.
Mm-hmm. Do you want to know what I have done in the war thus far?
Yes, and also to give an accounting of Valerius here.
Well, personally, I have only been at the last battle where Valerius was. Let's see. Last we spoke, I was busy in the negotiation of the release of Lissa de Bogan, Veronica the She, and the rest of the prisoners. I was successful. In doing so, I actually even made sure that the Nunahai are no longer allied with the at him, at least at the present. Let's see, what else happened? There seemed to have been a little mistake that House Griddian had made regarding a Selkie. And some of the Nunahai were very cross about that. That Selkie has been returned into their care, and in doing so, well, I have gained some of their favor. Upon rescuing Veronica, I went to an encampment of the Adhene. I do believe there were about 600 to 800 Adhene present when I walked in. I have to admit I had a little bit of help from two Magi, friends of Veronica, who were there to make sure that, well, no one did anything too rash, I suppose. I learned something about the Adhene there. The different kinds, the different dialects they spoke, and that there are these weird red-headed women with white togas that seem to be able to look through illusions without even trying, and who can look into the future. Perhaps these are the same that, well, they seem to talk about eating entrails and using entrails. Perhaps these are the same creatures that we encountered some time ago at the castle, where one of those creatures threw entrails there and we extracted it and brought it to Duke Guile. Let's see.
Divination, perhaps, via investigation analysis of the guts or the innards of a poor creature. It's supposedly more potent if you go ahead and take a changeling or a she or a puka or a slua. In fact, slua is supposed to be the most potent. But continue.
Yes, and that's also one of the things. When we first extracted Veronica, she was missing her eyes and had a lot of scars and wounds. We healed them through some sort of magical means, but she remained unresponsive, and we had to go inside her mind to try and free her, which we did, and she seemed to have locked away many dark secrets. Let's see. Together with Alicia Sekhmet and Green Summers, we ventured down to the deep sea, to the sea court. And, well, sadly that wasn't that fruitful. So, but we did see, it seemed that there are two factions in this sea part over the Dreaming that are at war of some sort with one another.
That could definitely explain the confusion on our part when we try to speak with them. First off, they are already from a faraway land, even though they are simply offshore. They have very enigmatic styles, and the fact that they aren't as unified as we once thought they were would lead more and more to more confusion. But you say you actually went down there? You actually saw the depths? What did you see?
Well, at first we were we encountered a field of dead men tied down by their legs to rocks. As we ventured further, we thought we were that we met with merfolk. It wasn't until the illusion was broken that we realized that it were actually Marucha. Marucha are ugly-looking creatures, part octopus in a way, and they try to do something to Alicia. She had something like caviar stuffed down her belly, but I was able to extract her. In doing so, I seem to have made a particular friend who is currently at. Well, she has been staying at my freehold.
Interesting, interesting. And I don't want to bog down this entire briefing to this one adventure. Go ahead and sum up the fruits of the endeavor.
Well, it seems to be that she was called Kraken, and she was sort of the right master, because they were trying to sacrifice us to their father, Dagon.
That's a very, very cold word, and a very, very cold name. Please refrain from saying it too often.
Yes, as he sort of looks around, I haven't told anyone, or no, I haven't told anyone but Alicia about the Kraken, because I didn't want to let people know that that one of the Marucha is amongst us. What else did we do? We went to see the dragon at Wall Street.
Huh.
And actually got him to help us. I can even say that I have become his friend in doing so. I believe his name is Viroth, Champion of the Red, and he helped us at the battle at the keep, at the castle.
That's very, very good. And Fergal will go ahead and divide his attention up. Baron Valerius, were you present at any of these events, or would you like to clarify any such?
I was also at. I also played a part in helping befriend the dragon, as it were. Asking the dragon required some personal possessions that were dear to us, and we had to part with them in order to gain an accord with the dragon.
Did you give anything up?
Yes, I did.
What were you giving up?
It was an amulet given to my deceased wife.
This dragon, it appreciates heartfelt gifts, I take it.
Mm-hmm.
The practice of tribute giving is well known to me. But please, go on.
There was also the few of the battles that were fought were very, dare I say, difficult battles, because during the Battle of the Keep we were severely outnumbered. Though through a lot of the lessons that I've learned, I was able to push through and be able to secure a victory at the Keep.
Now, I happen to have some numbers here. He goes ahead and brings from his very, very narrow frame seems like a placard, seems like a clipboard that seems too wide to be held in such a fashion, such a slim frame. It just goes over the numbers, and you lost 60% of your fighting force.
Yes, General. 80 trolls, 40 she, 20 red caps, 10 sailors.
And do you think that the gains that you made were worth such losses?
I stand by my decision. I stand by my decision that the ends justified the means. We came to secure victory. We did what we set out to do.
That might have been the intention. However, perhaps the losses were too much. Perhaps it would have been wiser to go ahead and cut and run. I understand that taking the freehold was definitely a priority, but was it something that needed to be done? Was it a priority that needed to be done in such a way with so many losses, or did we not stop and think
It
about how
was,
we could do it better?
it was a direct command from Duke Gal himself. If I came back with anything less of a victory, then it would have been my head.
So, Duke Dial gave you a directive, and you used your own people, your own men, and you lost about 60 of them in service to Duke Guile.
Interesting.
As he looks and he says, that would be correct.
If I may speak, General.
Go ahead.
Personally, I feel that if we would have lost this particular castle, it would have been an entry point for the Adhene to attack further, to gain even more ground. At the end of the fight, a particular woman with frost all around her tried to encapsulate us, all of us, in the keep saying, if she can't have it, no one can. This makes me believe that to the Adhene, this was a battle they felt they had to win.
Now this woman in white, this frost woman, did she act alone or in concert with others?
She seemed to have the undead people under her sway, but she seemed to work on her own, and her arts were massive, strong. She could conjure up a gigantic dome of ice and a massive whirlwind, just like that.
Goes ahead and looks to Valerius again. And what was your response to seeing this very, very powerful being demonstrating such arts?
I called a defensive retreat and took back the soldiers that I could.
Does this explain partially some of your losses?
This would indeed, yes.
Were you eventually able to retake it despite this white woman?
Correct.
And what was her fate?
She disappeared, I believe.
She
Vanished.
retreated from battle.
Indeed.
I assume after a valiant charge against her.
You indeed would be right, sir.
Urkel goes ahead and makes a few notes to himself. All right then. What about the dragon? What was his part in the few battles that it has been in?
Who are you asking?
I'm asking both of you.
The dragon's part, I believe that him, the dragon, and Nathan were pretty much together in battle as they took on a separate but largely effective force in taking out a lot of the Adhene. But the dragon seemed to be only there, not caring too much about who or what it destroyed, It was just there for the glory of the battle, I believe.
That's a very, very interesting report. Pearl goes ahead and makes more notes. Very interesting. Alright then. What after that? What after that since today? Or I should say till today.
Valerius would look to Nathan. Is there something else you want to add to that?
No. Up until today, I don't think anything worthy of note happened.
Except for the trial.
I also received a knight in Alicia's segment.
Alicia, I'll have to speak to that woman after this meeting. Hopefully I'll be able to grab her, but sometimes my business takes me away. In any case, today, I've gone ahead and listened to your reports, simply because I wish to color today's events in the best light possible for our Duchess. I have my own opinions about it, but I wanted you to at least show your brightest moments before we talk about the ugly business. About you, the commoners, and trial procedure. Now, Baron, you came to the Hall of Justice today, right?
Correct.
What did you intend to do? Did you intend to come and watch the proceedings as well as with everybody else?
I indeed intended to just watch the proceedings because once the information was given, I was just simply an observer with no intention of causing any sort of imbalance.
Now, I was there. I was watching the court proceeding. I noticed how many people they had gathered. What a big spectacle that they were about to make. My Duchess, if you do not know, there was a Boggin on trial for high treason, for consorting with the Adhene and passing along information to them. Information that resulted in the death of no less than 2 nobles and 1 commoner by the name of Dominique.
I see. Well, that might explain something.
Now, Baron, at which point did you decide to get involved with the trial, and how did you do so? How did you get involved?
I saw the way the information was being disseminated and the deliberations of the Court of Dreams. I also thought that being that there was so much about the Adhene and their forces that some of the information that we got needed to be 100% ensuring that we made no more careless errors. But it seemed to me that casting just simple, being that the Boggin that was sitting there had no room to speak to either confirm or deny such accusations, at this point I spoke up and decided to speak on behalf of the Boggin. In doing so,
with your own volition, you went ahead and stepped into the court, stepped into the trial in order to speak for this Boggin commoner. Now, our house is known for being rather friendly with the commoners' cause and all that other good nonsense. You stand before a slua who had never gotten anywhere else besides in this house. You, my good sir, as a noble yourself, decided to represent this cause, and I applaud you all for it. Go on.
As I spoke, my words seemed to resonate with all of the hearts and minds of the commoners and nobles present. They heard my words and they responded favorably. They went on to shout jeers of praise in my name.
Yes, yes, I was there. You went ahead and presented yourself as the defense of the bargain, and you were able to gather the rest of the crowd, mostly the other commoners, to at least let you speak on her behalf, because she, my Duchess, was not speaking for herself. She was remaining mute, not either giving a guilty or non-guilty plea. She was holding herself in contempt of the court.
Correct. So, at which point I spoke to her, and there was a remission called. At which point I conversed with the bargain, in which she decided to try and bribe me to say that if I joined her cause, that she would make me king of all of the kingdom of apples, and she would make me wealthy and joyous beyond my wildest imagination. I continued to listen to her testimony and take notes, and asking what happened from beginning to end, trying to stay as impartial as I possibly could. At which point, I heard something whisper to me that justice should be done, and I thought to myself that I wasn't actually here to actually reprimand, to defend her. I was more here, acting more on emotion, and thought that I was more here to see that justice was done.
And that is where we get ourselves very, very wrong, my good sir. And I will go ahead and stop you there. When you spoke up in that Hall of Justice in order to present yourself as the attorney and the defense of the bargain, that's all well and good. What you should have done is you should have taken the bargain and presented a non-guilty plea despite her muteness. That would have been the first step in a proper trial procedure. And you did go and you did converse with your client. Bravo to you. Unfortunately, what you presented afterwards was fairly damning for yourself. You had gone there, in the eyes of the entire hall, as a knight in shining armor, a defense for this poor bargain. And when you came out, you went ahead and broke the confidentiality between the client and yourself. You ceased to becoming her attorney and became her condemner. And you had the entire hall turn against you within a blink of an eye. Can you see why I am displeased?
Yes.
You are Fiona. We have a very good relation with the commoners, and you coming out there and condemning one of their own right after saying that you would defend her tarnishes your name and our name as well.
Understood.
If I may speak, my general.
Go ahead.
If you would have heard what she said in those private chambers, I don't know how anyone could have defended her.
Then you choose not to. You simply stay silent. If she did not provide any evidence to defend herself, simply come out to the trial, to the judges, to the master of justice, and simply say, she offers no defense. That is simple enough. The evidence presented against her was quite staggering, and because she had no evidence of herself and no way to go ahead and discredit the evidence, it was an open shut case. I don't fault you for not doing the best that you could, but your heart is in the wrong place. In the trial of justice, if you're acting as an attorney, a defense attorney for somebody accused, don't use their private talks against them. And certainly don't do it in front of the entire commoner nation.
Understood.
Now, I have talked quite a bit and let you present yourself in the finest light possible, and I have gone ahead and shown Duchess Arlight why I have brought you here. So I will let her speak.
The worst case scenario in this would have been if you would have openly retreated as her defense. That would have been the worst case scenario, but you even found a worse one. How to turn this in a way that would benefit you and House Fiona? Any suggestions?
I have a suggestion if you'd hear me.
Well, I was asking you, so yes, of course.
Maybe if I was shown to be a hero of the people, in a sense, saying that I stand up for the common man would be a positive spin.
And you just proved yourself not to do that. The problem is regaining trust.
Arle,
Virgo?
well, I think at this point, Barry and Valerius, they've been spreading some names for you behind your back. Some of them rather disheartening. You have gained disrespect within the commoner holds. That is unfortunate. And if we keep you in your current status, your current position, that lets everybody else know, all the commoners that we go ahead and support so graciously, that we also support your actions today. What I suggest is that you go ahead and have the opportunity to regain the support of the commoners. And my suggestion to you, Arle, would be to show the commoners that while this is an unfortunate set of events, we shouldn't condemn Varius totally, but show that we understand that he made a mistake.
Well, if I didn't understood that, I wouldn't even have been talking to him now, would I? Plus, there's something else. Maybe we need to look back, because this has been bugging me ever since you mentioned it. That attack on that freehold that you spoke of earlier. And it was Duke Guile who gave you the order to do so, right?
Correct.
You lost a lot of good people, a lot of good commoners.
Indeed.
Have they been rewarded something? Recompensation? Have you had any from our dear Duke?
Nothing.
I see. Well, that's food for thought now, is it?
Yes, it would.
Why would he not reward you? Why would he not reward all those poor commoners? Maybe if we switch the attention of the people to that fact, and not so necessarily to what happened at court.
That is definitely a political move. That is definitely something that we ought to do. That doesn't rectify the situation that we have currently before us.
Of course, we also need to do something about that, but this was just something that I did not want it to slip anyone's attention.
Of course, of course. Valerius, our Duchess here talks about recompense. Is there any recompense that you can provide to the families of those that were, or at least fell during the battle to retake that freehold?
Yes, I could offer something.
What can you offer then?
I could offer to, as he looks and kind of strokes his head, perhaps it might be a good idea if we offered a
Perhaps a ceremony of sorts to remember the fallen
A silent Mars.
and put the focus on a bit more on the commoners than the she.
Hmm.
Definitely doable. Definitely doable. Now, how do we help our Baron here recover the face that he just lost today?
Did you tell them exactly what she spoke with you about in private? Did you give everybody the exact details?
there are some things that I omitted.
Here's what I would suggest, because I'm going to state this quite plainly. Maybe the Baron title isn't one for you. I do not want to lose you within my house. I believe you're a very capable individual, but either recompense towards the families that were lost, a lost in title, or a combination of the two with this ceremony. A ceremony where you personally go ahead, head it up, or hell, why don't you go ahead, set the ceremony up with your backing, with your own resources, declare your ever love for the commoners, remember that all that was fallen, show your proper respects.
Would I still use my rank as Baron?
You would have to talk to me afterwards. If the commoners go ahead and accept you back with open arms, you are still as such. However, if there is still dissent, if they are not all the way convinced, well, sir, Valerius, it will be then.
Blair's not.
Perhaps a schooling of some sorts in the ways of the Parliament to make sure that this doesn't happen again.
Definitely. That is definitely something that can happen. Perrin, since you are not yet, sir, I have a prescription for you. I have a curriculum for you. I'll go ahead and have one of my schoolmasters teach you the way that I was taught. There are volumes of law and order somewhere within this ship, and I would like you to go over just at least a few of them.
As you wish.
I especially loved seasons 3 on up, because that's when they really started getting good.
Understood.
And seemingly out of nowhere, Virgil will go ahead and reach back into his smaller, thin frame and bring out what apparently appears to be a DVD. Or a VHS, actually, because that makes more sense. Yeah, this one is good. He goes ahead and slides it over to Valerius. If you don't know how to work it, it works with... Oh, I'll just get the schoolmaster to teach you.
Understood.
Alright. Nathan.
Yes, my general.
Are you still a squire?
Yes, my general.
Well, that's got to change, Sir Nathan.
Huh? Thank you.
Yes. You're no longer my squire, you are now my knight. Go ahead and get the right accoutrements. I'll go ahead and give you something shiny to wear. How about that?
I suppose. Yeah. I do like shiny things.
Speaking about shiny things, actually. Baron Valerius, do you still have that gift I gave you?
Yes, sir.
Bring it over. Show me your finger.
He goes over and shows him his finger.
The ring that held that gem. Last time Fergal saw it, it was actually a pure white coming on to green, and as Fergal looks at it again, he sees that the pale green has ever so slightly mutated into a darker hue. Huh. This is well for your case. You are learning. Good for you.
He nods and says, okay.
Anything you wish to speak with me about, Valerius, before you are dismissed? Anything you wish to speak to the Duchess as well?
No, sir.
Fair enough. Baron Valerius, you are charged with regaining the respect of the commoners through tribute, prizes, ceremony, whatever have you. If you do not do so, you will be stripped of your rank and kicked down to knight. Understood?
Understood.
Also, he looks at the lion. You're being very polite. I like your friend.
The lion will look up, perk up. Well, Mr. Brandy Man, you told me to be quiet for a little bit, so that's what I do.
I know, but usually people don't actually do that.
Puka?
Yeah, Puka. They tend to do that. But in any case,
As the lion sort of raises an eyebrow, looks at Valerius. What is a puka?
A puka is a type of changeling, a type of me.
Oh, how queer.
Valerius would offer a slight smile.
Well, that's... Well, if you need us to leave, my good Baron, then we can go. I'll remain silent.
proud one, go ahead and give your due diligence to this one. I want to see this Baron succeed.
Oh, all right. I'll make sure to guide him. Shall we depart, my friend?
Yes, we should.
And that will probably leave Nathan alone with the Duchess and the General.
Alright, Nathan. You, my good sir, have a different task I have to set for you.
Mm-hmm.
Since you are gaining this new title as knight, I charge you with finding your own resources, your own land to grab, your own squires to go ahead and bequeath. Because a title means nothing if you don't have the necessary backing and resources. And this is what I need you to do. I need you to grab the other changelings that aren't as well along as you and see if you can't drag them with you. This Alicia character, I like her. She seems to have some kind of combat capability. But the other ones, see if you can't help them out.
I do believe that... I don't know. I'm not sure. Most of them seem to stay away from war and politics. There was something that I haven't told yet.
Mm-hmm.
When we met the dragon and he bestowed us with the help, he also gave us gifts. I am uncertain what the gifts do, however. I do know that I was given a particular cloak or mantle, and Valerius was given a scepter of some sort.
Interesting. This is very, very good information to have. I'll go ahead and make my own notes. Make some notes. But yes. Please excuse me. Apparently, I've been so far away from Tarinar, I do not know the ins and outs as much as I would want to. Who is new in this city? Who do I need to talk to get to know?
Let's see. We have Baron Robin Goodwin, a short-stated fellow who drinks a lot and parties a lot. He's new. There is another satyr called Terry Dominic, who doesn't seem to be quite convinced yet. He thinks that this is all a dream. There is Morgan. She's a puka like myself. New. Rick, a particular redcap. That's new. I have to wonder. I do believe that's about it at the moment, though.
Thank you, Sir Nathan. I'll go ahead and try to make at least a...
Oh, before...
Yes?
No, there is someone else.
Yes?
As he sort of gasps. There's a representative of House Balor in the city.
Oh, I did not know that. It's probably something I should know, but I didn't. Which disturbs me, actually.
Yes, and I did neglect to mention this because he seems to be adamant on trying to help us commoners in Tarinar, or the Kingdom of Apples in general, but well, we all know the prejudice that is towards that particular house, and I'm not sure how much of it is true.
Interesting. I'll go ahead and have to make a dossier of these people for my own records. That you've been a very, very good operative to me, which is why I'm promoting you. Continue to do good work.
Yes, he is a baron, by the way. Darwin, I believe his name was.
Baron Darwin. Gotcha.
I did open the lines of communications with him. I assumed you wanted, well, some communications with this particular gentleman.
It's always good to have communications open and available, especially when I am unfortunately out of Tarinar more than I would like to. You go ahead and see if we'll actually scratch that for a little bit.
There's many things that have happened, and for instance, the sudden disappearance of Green Summers is peculiar.
The disappearance?
Well, I haven't spoken to him in quite a while. He doesn't seem to be present in his freehold whenever I go there.
Right. I'll go ahead and check up on that lad. I like that lad. That lad's going places. At least I thought he was the last time I spoke to him.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'll do what you ask of me.
You are dismissed, sir.
Yes, thank you. And he will actually leave with a little smile on his face.
And before we bring the scene to a close, General Fergal will go ahead and go back to his attendant place besides Duchess Arley, bend down to her, offer an ear, and simply say, "Well, what do you think about all this?"
A lot of new faces. Maybe I should open up my freehold once again.
I think that would be a rather lovely idea.
I was thinking about maybe donating a statue to the commoners for all their losses and their hard times.
Are we talking about the throne made out of weapons? Because I'll be quite honest, I hate that thing. I hate that thing so much.
It's a nice spoil of war. But it might actually, might work. If we can just put a little plaque on it for all those who've fallen under the order of Duke Guile. That would be too obvious now, would it?
Yes. It would. Explain to me that particular situation.
What particular situation?
Like I said, what is your agenda? What is your objective going into the next few months? You and Duke Guile have always had a contentious relationship.
It's simply a matter of sides. And I feel that he is getting a lot of power thrown into his lap.
No? Fair enough. I tend to make myself fairly scarce in the court, what with the war effort and all.
Well, it's just a nice stab. Not really considering like damaging him or something. That would be, well, that would also help our dearest Baron a little bit, I think. Just a little support to him, a little support to the commoners. And supporting him, we might get our good name back. He needs to lose followers because of him.
We all make poor decisions. However, the passion within him is something to be harnessed and to be controlled. Whether or not the brain pan deserves to be considered is another course of action entirely. That thing needs to be polished and refined.
His passion is definitely remarkable, as it should be. But he needs to know where to direct it to.
In any case, a few more seasons will have something out of him. Or if not, well, such is the nature of Taranar.
You win some, you lose some.
I never lose.
I know. That's why you are my general, aren't you?
Mm-hmm. That and a few other things you don't know about. Is there anything else you wish to speak to me about such matters?
Not at this point. I'm tired of this. We need to have a party soon.
Very well. I'll go ahead and make myself scarce. And with that, Jennifer will just go ahead and not move in any one particular direction. Just go ahead and step on a crack between the seams of this particular vessel, this particular boat, and just simply slide in and disappear. And with that, I believe we can end our scene. Thank you, players, for playing. Thank you, watchers, for watching. Y'all have a good one.